Hey YouTube, Scott back here again doing another weird project. Um, Today I am installing a snorkel on the Pajero, and I bought this truck about a month ago. I've been shipping parts from Japan and all over the world, trying to get the thing like 100% up and running so I can use it as a trail rig. And here it is. Ta-da! I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I'm still working on a bunch, but I've gone ahead and taped off the front, and there's no instructions that come with these kits either, so this is kind of a crapshoot for me. But I'm going to line it all up as best as I can, and they give you somewhat of a template. It's torn, I got to tape it back together. It wasn't in the greatest shape when I got it, but I'll be back in just a sec here, and we will check this out once I get everything taped and drilled out. Alright, so I got everything taped up. I did put on the little template that they give to you. I don't really know how close to these edges you should get. I left about a 1/16 of an inch around each edge, and I'm wondering if that's not quite right. Like I said, it would have been really nice to have some sort of instructions that went with this thing. The holes that they provide here are pretty good size, which we don't need a hole anywhere near that big. And then this little center hole is for the 3-inch hole that I need to drill throughout the deal here for the main tube that goes through. So let's give it a go and see what happens. I used a center punch to just tap these first, and then I took it was a 5/32. I don't remember what size bit that was, just a real small bit, and I drilled these out, each individual one, just to get them going first, and then I'll get a bigger bit in a sec here for all of these other ones. I've got a step bit that I'm probably going to use on the rest of these, and then the hole saw obviously on this one. I think it looks pretty good. I haven't tested it yet here, but I'll clean up around the edge on this deal. There was a part of the airbox, I believe, on the inside here that we'll obviously have to cut out of there. I opened the hood, and we went ahead and kind of fixed a couple things up here and pulled this little rubber tube out just for the time being. But there she is, moment of truth. We'll see if it fits. Hopefully everything lines up, or this is going to be a nightmare. And here is kind of the pre-fitment. I don't have it obviously pushed in all the way. I've got to take this body panel off, and they supply us with, gosh, where do I put them now? These pretty good size washers to go on the backs, these fender washers. I'm assuming they do that because the holes that they had marked out on the actual template are not anywhere near. I mean, they're upwards of easily 1/4 to 1/2 inch off. So I mean, be really careful where you drill when you're doing these, but you will definitely need to utilize these. I'll pull this off. Let's see if I can pull it off of here and actually show you. I had to use this step bit here, and I just went up to the 2nd notch is all. So if I can pop this back over here. So there's our holes, which they're a lot bigger than you would expect because the pegs on here, you know, just for relation, they're not that big. I really would have wished there would have been a more of a accurate template, I guess, for this vehicle. But I guess this is what we're working with. So we will continue on. And I apologize again for having to keep pausing the video. So I've gone ahead and peeled the tape off. This is what it should look like when you kind of finish up. I haven't like cleaned it or anything, but I'm going to clean this up. I've got some touch-up paint that I'm going to put around all of these edges just to cover up any bare steel that's on here. If we can prevent rust in any way, that's probably how we're going to do it. And then I'm going to go ahead and unbolt all of these little body bolts that are on here and this screw, and hopefully this panel will just pop out far enough for us to get back in there and be able to put the snorkel on and fit it. And then the next step, then there's another bracket that goes up here on the pillar. Then we'll have to figure that out. I think it actually rivets on, so I'm not 100% sure. Again, there's no directions with this kit. I can't remember if I got it on eBay or Amazon. The rest of it is all right here. I mean, it should be pretty self-explanatory. There's not that much stuff. But again, I just don't know exactly what's what and what goes where. And like I say, once we get it fitted, it should be pretty self-explanatory. We should get it on there and it should work out just fine. But I will pause it again and move on to the next step. Alright, we are on day 2 here. I got a little sidetracked yesterday. So here's where we ended. The snorkel is completely installed at this point, and what you're going to need to do, I think where I left off in the last video was these bolts. So this one, this one, this one, there's 4 of them. This screw does not need to come out, but if you open the driver door, there's one right on the very top here. That's got to come out as well. And that will allow you to pull this panel just far enough kind of out to get your hand back here and work and be able to put the fender washers and the nuts on all of the little bolts that are sticking out of this. This section up here where you have to rivet on the back side, what I did was take this bracket, I held it up to the snorkel itself with a piece of tape on the opposite side, and just that blue painter's tape, the same as what I was using on the rest of the snorkel. I put a piece of that blue painter's tape on and again held this up here. I pushed that tape down on the sides as best as I could, and then I marked those holes on the body. That was the easiest way that I could figure out how to do it. I don't really know. There's not really, I mean, you could potentially take some type of a measurement, but it really wouldn't be as accurate, I don't think, even as putting the tape on. And then I just did those, I riveted it on, and then I put the 3 little bolts on the top here. And it's solid. I mean, I'm cranking on it right now, and I mean, this thing doesn't move. It's really, really solid on here, which worked out really well. I have not yet gone ahead and did the inner. And the reason being is that there is no, unless there's something on the inbox or on the box in here itself, there's nothing for any water to drain down from. So I don't know if I maybe potentially need to make a water drain of some sort. But that kind of bothers me a little bit. And I guess the fact that it has to travel so far too, I don't know what the velocity of air going through this whole system would be. But I mean, this truck doesn't have but maybe 90 some horsepower to begin with that little turbo diesel 4-cylinder. So I'm worried that it's going to degrade the performance as well. I'm kind of thinking it's probably only going to take about 5 minutes if you ever needed to hook up the actual tube that goes to the intake. Same thing with that. You'd need to modify this down here to make sure this has a proper super tight fit. I'd probably put a hose clamp around this piece right here. And then this piece actually gets hose clamped to the other one. It's just kind of setting in that hole right now. And then I did cut out that, it's like an air diffuser that's in here. I think I was referring it to as, I called it an air box earlier on. But there's an air diffuser basically that is set upright so that the air, you know, it's pulling air from the highest point here. That thing you basically need to kind of like drill through and get that out of there to be able to put that connection pipe in. But again, I have not yet done the connection pipe, just for those 2 reasons. And if I do that, it's probably going to be a little bit down the road. I mean, we live in New Mexico, so there's not a ton of water crossings or anything like that we're really too concerned with. To be honest with you, I didn't put this on here for, like, you know, major functionality in New Mexico. I put it on here because I thought it looked cool, which might be kind of a poser-ish thing to do, but I wanted a snorkel and I liked it, so that was fine. If you guys have any questions on the vehicle or the installation of this thing, feel free to shoot me a message. It's pretty straightforward. It's not difficult to do. Just be very mindful of the holes that you're putting in. What I would maybe do next time around is make my own template. I would actually take a piece of cardboard and go around this entire thing. I would actually put the little studs in, like, of where those studs come out on the snorkel. I would put the studs in the snorkel, turn this thing upside down on the ground, and put a piece of cardboard over that, and then maybe trace out and push the cardboard through those studs so you know exactly where those things need to be. The only hang up that I had with this whole thing, I was really worried about that from the get-go, just because when I kind of held it up there, it really didn't seem like it was like it was really close to where it needed to be. So that bothered me a little bit. But again, if I had one complaint, that would be it. Otherwise, again, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of weird little projects between this, the G-Wagon, the BMW, and probably the little bit on the Ford Raptor here still too. So, all right, guys, have a good day.